So, LeBron James put out his quarterback Mount Rushmore, and right now, from the top of my head, I don't necessarily too hardly disagree with it, but he definitely shouldn't have Patrick Mahomes up there, and he needs to leave John Elway off of there, and he needs to make up his mind first off, and he needs to have Peyton Manning on there. No matter what, you need to have. I don't care. You need to have. It's disrespectful to not have Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, Joe Montana on that Mount Rushmore. Those three quarterbacks, no matter what, needs to be on anybody's top five, anybody's Mount Rushmore. I don't care whatever of the quarterbacks. Those three quarterbacks need to be on there. Those three quarterbacks revolutionized the game. I don't care. Peyton Manning has 2 rings anyway. I mean, Peyton Manning had revolutionized the sport. There is not too many quarterbacks who is as great as Peyton Manning, who freaking dominated every single time he stepped on the field. No, he needs to be up on there. And to be honest, I would probably even put Dan Marino on there, even though Dan Marino doesn't have a ring. But just talking about just pure quarterback play, there's only so many quarterbacks I have seen play the game like Dan Marino. So, I mean, out of that, I don't really care who you put on there. But you can't. I mean, I just don't think Patrick Mahomes is a top 5 quarterback of all time. I need to see more from him. I need to see. I need to think about who else who my top 5 quarterbacks of all time are. I can't really think right now for the top of my head. But I damn sure wouldn't put Patrick Mahomes in my top 3. There's no way in hell I would put him over Peyton Manning. There's no way in hell I'll put him over Joe Montana. There's no way in hell I'll put him. I damn sure wouldn't put him over Tom Brady. So, and this is when we're talking about like all body of work, everything, rings, playoffs, all that. So, I mean, that's why I'm not talking about Justin Herbert or Caleb Williams or whatever like that, because they haven't done those things yet. But if you're talking about pure quarterback play, Justin Herbert is a better quarterback than Patrick Mahomes. And I also believe Caleb Williams is a better quarterback than Patrick Mahomes too. Like I just see them both play the game, their position better, the position, the skill set, fundamental skills better than Mahomes. But Mahomes, he benefits from a lot. He does benefit from a lot. I just don't think that he will be doing everything that he's doing outside of Andy Reid. I honestly don't think that. And we won't really see that for a long time, because I don't know when Andy Reid will ever retire. But it's obviously he will retire before Mahomes retires. Mahomes is going to be playing for a very, very long time. And then we will start to see. That's when I will really start to see how great Mahomes actually is. I think today a lot of people, they don't have the patience to see a player's true actual greatness to unfold. You know, Patrick Mahomes does these things so early, and everybody just wants to all of a sudden just throw him in the GOAT situation. I just think that's completely ridiculous. So if people are going to do that, then I'm going to say Justin Herbert is better than him. You want to rush and put him in the same position as Tom Brady and put him over Peyton Manning and stuff like that? You want to do that? Okay, then. So you know what? Because Patrick Mahomes hasn't been in the league that long. Okay, fine then. I'm going to put somebody who's his peer. Justin Herbert is one of his peers. Because Justin Herbert is close. I mean, to many, everybody, the vast majority of opinion. Justin Herbert, in the vast majority of his opinion, Justin Herbert is a top 10 quarterback. So Patrick Mahomes is number 1. 10 is not too far from 1. So if you're going to put Patrick Mahomes over Tom Brady, or on the same breath of Tom Brady and over Peyton Manning, I'm going to do the exact same thing with Justin Herbert and Patrick Mahomes. I don't give a damn how many rings Justin Herbert has. I don't give a damn how many playoff wins he has, because I know it's a team sport, and a lot in Justin Herbert's organization has a lot to do with how many rings and playoff wins he has had. He would have as many wins and playoff wins in rings as Patrick Mahomes would if he had a competent coach. And so I'm going to be proven right after this season. So I just know Justin Herbert is a better quarterback than him. I just know he is. So I don't want to get too deep on that. You know, I always somehow seem to talk about Justin Herbert when I'm talking about Patrick Mahomes or quarterbacking. But I don't think LeBron's list is too far off. But I think it's very disrespectful for him to be guessing about putting Peyton Manning out there. I think that's completely disrespectful. And what Shannon Sharp says in this video, I didn't watch the whole video, so I'm going to play it. But what Shannon Sharp says in this video, I think is ridiculous as well. Because he's saying, oh, number 3 is easy. Brady Mahomes. What was it? Brady Mahomes. Who was the third one? It was those 3. I can't remember who was the other one. But Brady, he was saying Brady Mahomes. But it was the Mahomes that was irritating me. Yeah, Brady Mahomes mentality. He was like, those are the 3. Those are 3. Those are like no-brainers. No, that's dumb. Those aren't the 3. The no-brainer is Brady, Manning, Mahomes. Those are the no-brainers. He's got me saying it, not Mahomes. Brady, Manning, Montana. That's the no-brainer right there. Not Mahomes. And so that's what pisses me off. Is like this overrated analysis of Patrick Mahomes. And he's hardly ever been in the league that long. And on top of that, he has arguably the greatest coach of all time coaching him. Offensive coach coaching him. The quarterback whisperer coaching him. With arguably the greatest tight end of all time. I want to see him outside of that. People is knocking Brock Purdy for having all that star power and having his quarterback, who was a great, not quarterback, his head coach, who was a great, Kyle Shanahan, who was a great head coach, who also is pretty much a quarterback whisperer. They're knocking Brock Purdy for that. That's a knock on him, and I'm not even a Brock Purdy fan. I wouldn't dare put Brock Purdy in my top 5, maybe top 10, maybe. I'll definitely have him in my top 15 at the top of my head. So, but my point is that Brock Purdy, at the time that he's been in the league, he is doing great things. He's winning games. He's been to a Super Bowl. He's did just as much as what Joe Burrow did. Joe Burrow has not done anything more or lesser than Brock Purdy. And Joe Burrow is on the vast majority's number 2 quarterback list, just like that. That's what I'm saying. That's what I was saying at this video before about how so many people are biased about who they want to choose and who they want to pick. In this channel, I am breaking all that bull crap. I am challenging the status quo. I am completely, unapologetically, unequivocally not politically correct. So we're going to go and watch this segment with Shannon on ESPN First Take, and yeah, let's see what's
next. Will be Tom Brady, Pat Mahomes, Joe Montana. Wow, John Elway. No, shit. Wow, that's not fair. For life is not fair, but it's gonna be. I would do a toss up between Elway and Peyton Manning.
Come on, LeBron. We don't do toss-ups between Elway. If he was on the show, we'd make him narrow it down right there. But high honors from LeBron. Shay, you're up first. Do you agree with Bron's list? So he had Brady, Mahomes, Montana, just to reiterate, and then a toss-up between your guy Elway and your guy Peyton Manning.
You better tread lightly.
I think Saturday. I got this. I think Saturday's gonna toss my guy. Saturday's gonna toss my guy, and unfortunately, I got to leave his guy off because I think he got the first 3 are very easy for me. When you talk about Brady, you talk about Montana, you talk about Mahomes. The 3 are easy. There are no doubters. I don't even know what the debate is when it comes to those 3. Now it gets a little tricky when it gets to that 4th spot. You got.
See what I mean? That's what I'm saying. Talking about it's tricky when you get to the 4th spot. It's easy with the first 3. No. Yeah, you're right. It is easy. But how is it so easy if you're so wrong? You can't just put Mahomes over Manning like that. Like that is just. That makes me angry. It disturbs me. I know Shannon Sharp watched the same Peyton Manning I watched growing up. I know he did. I don't understand how he just automatically just puts Mahomes over him like that. The things that Manning has done. I mean, you talk about a guy who just dominated defenses by just standing in the pocket. I've hardly ever seen Peyton Manning run, ever. I've hardly ever seen him run beyond 3 yards. But I've seen him destroy, and I mean destroy, every single defense that has ever been presented to a football player. Peyton Manning didn't need a football coach. He was the coach. The only player I would put over Peyton Manning is Tom Brady. That's the only player I would put over Peyton Manning. I think it's so... I keep saying this, I'm being redundant. It is dumb to not have Peyton Manning in your top 2. It's dumb. It's dumb. And I just question your judgment. I challenge people's judgment. I challenge, what are you actually basing this game off on? This guy left the Colts, went to the Broncos, who were garbage the year before he went there, with Tim Tebow, and won the freaking Super Bowl with the same team. Having Peyton Manning on your team is like having like 10 extra players on offense and defense. That's what Peyton Manning was. And I say that because Peyton Manning was like a freaking coach. He was a field general. I say that because this is why I also say this, because people don't realize when, like, especially like when you see college football and you see the NFL, you see how better a player becomes and you see how better a team becomes when they just get a different offensive coordinator, let alone if they get a better coach. You know, so they get a better offensive coordinator or a defensive coordinator, or if they just get a better coach, the team just automatically just becomes better. And then they lose, and then you all of a sudden you see this player struggling the next year or whatever, especially a quarterback, and you're like, damn, what's going on? And if you're a football nerd, you'll be like, oh, most of the time that coordinator went on and got a head coaching job. Peyton Manning was that coordinator. Peyton Manning was that brilliant offensive-minded head coach. Peyton Manning was that field general. If you don't know what I'm talking about, if you don't agree with what I'm talking about, then go back and do your research and see how Peyton Manning will freaking slice up any defense that was presented towards him. He was a defensive nightmare. Now, he did struggle in the playoffs. That's why I always put a Tom Brady over him. But he only struggled in the playoffs for so long. He got 2 rings. How many quarterbacks? That's 2 rings. 2 rings on 2 different teams.
Got Peyton Manning, 5 MVPs, 2 Super Bowls. You get John, who I played with for a decade, and he wins what? He wins 2. He goes to 5. And then even if you want to throw Rodgers in there or some of these other guys, Bart Starr, Dan Marino. But I'm going Elway. I played with a guy helped get me into the Hall of Fame. I got a gold jacket. I remember 267. The way he talked to me, the way he coached me, the way he was with me in the locker room and on the field. 7 gets it for me. So I got Elway, Montana, Brady, and Mahomes.
First of all, your emotions are understandable. They're reasonable. They're not beyond the cuff. That's your teammate. You said the brother got you into the Hall of Fame. I mean, my God. I mean, I get it. I understand it. Yeah. But that don't make you right. That don't make you right. I'm sorry. And by the way, to LeBron James might have, I mean, he's the first future Hall of Famer, a Mount Rushmore quality dude that might have disqualified himself from the damn Mount Rushmore with a Mount Rushmore that he put together. I mean, come on, LeBron. You know better. You can't, Shannon Sharp, you cannot leave Peyton Manning off that list. You just can't do it. You cannot say that we've watched football And there are 5 quarterbacks, there are 4 quarterbacks that deserve a nod ahead of Peyton Manning, or all-time great. Number 2 in passing yards, number 1 in TDs. I mean, come on now. This is Peyton Manning. Oh, by the way, Shannon Sharp, you'll appreciate this. Put Jeff Saturday.
Thank you, Stephen A. Smith. Thank you. Usually, sometimes Stephen A. Smith be making me mad sometimes, but then he be speaking that knowledge. He be speaking that sense. 539 down passing touchdowns, bruh. 71,000 passing yards. 5-time MVP. 5-time NFL MVP, bruh. Who do that? Who does that? Peyton freaking Manning. I'm not even a Peyton Manning fan, but I do recognize greatness when I see it. For years, since I've been 14 years old, I've been arguing about who was better, Peyton Manning or Tom Brady. But you cannot sit here and the blasphemy. This is sacrilegious to even freaking say to not have Peyton Manning in your freaking top 5, top 3, top 2. Come on, man. Stephen A., thank you. Thank you, Stephen A. Smith. You will never see this video, more than likely. Probably never will. But thank you for checking them on this disrespect.
And Shannon Sharp up on the screen. I want to look at these brothers when I'm talking to them. Now, far here for me, with my little novice self, just watching football from afar. I mean, football is a sport I never wanted to play. I looked at them big brothers. I was like, I don't want no parts of this. I don't want no parts of this, okay? I just watched. But when I watched, you know, it's interesting, Shannon and Jeff. Peyton Manning came into the league and was calling his own plays more than a decade after no one was calling their own plays. They did away with that damn near in the mid-'80s. Okay? I understand that you might have Jim Kelly in Buffalo audibling from time to time. Dan Marino definitely did at the line of scrimmage or whatever. We talk about Peyton Manning here and what he did. He was running the damn offense. Okay? Everybody knew that. Yeah, no offensive coordinator telling Peyton Manning what to do. He walked up to Peyton Manning, asking Peyton Manning what he should do. That's the difference.
See what I mean? See what I mean? And I hadn't even watched this whole. See what I mean? See what I mean? And I hadn't even watched this whole show. I turned it off right when Shannon Sharp was talking about how you cannot have just your top 3 because. He did not get your top 3. I turned the video off as soon as I heard Shannon Sharp saying that the top 3 were easy, because then it hit a nerve. My emotions started to raise, and I was like, I gotta do a video on this. That's what I usually do when I'm watching this stuff, or whatever. I get a little inspiration. I stop what I'm doing. I just go ahead and pop the webcam on, and I go ahead and do a video. That's my strategy of making the content, football content. But thank you, Stephen A. Thank you. What Stephen A. is really describing right now is what I just told you in this earlier video. Peyton Manning was a freaking field general. That's what you call a field general. This man was calling his own plays a decade before players started doing it. This is how freaking brilliant Peyton Manning was. Brilliant offensive mind. He was born to play that position. Like I said before, I said Peyton Manning, he was the offensive coordinator. He was the head coach. Having Peyton Manning was like having 10 players. I'm still trying to figure out to this day. Was it Marvin Harrison, Reggie Wayne, Dallas Clark, Edgerrin James, Joseph Adai? Was it them or was it actually Peyton Manning who made them that? Because that's literally what he did when he went to the Broncos. I rest my case, man. I rest my case. I'm just going to say that you don't know football if you don't have Peyton Manning on top 2. Just that simple.
Okay, this man was calling his own plays. He was running the offense. He was essentially an offensive coordinator at the quarterback position on the football field. He's got 2 Super Bowl rings, okay? And on top of it all, he's a 5-time league MVP. And oh, by the way, Shannon, even though he had some running backs, okay, he didn't have Terrell Davis. Now, stop this. Now, we all know that when we talked about, that's right, I said it. When we talked about Elway, as great as Elway was, and he was great. Please, John Elway, don't think I'm questioning your greatness. I am not. But that brother Terrell Davis was something spectacular. And everybody knew that was the reason that John Elway finally got over the hump, because a Super Bowl title had escaped him up to that point, to back-to-back since 1997 and 1998. You know this, Shay. You know this.
So what was Marshall Faulk and Edgerrin James? Were they not any good?
No. They were great. They wanted Terrell Davis at that time, number one, and number two, Peyton Manning was flinging that football a lot. Come on now. Jeff Saturday, get him. Get him, Jeff.
Let me just say this. Marshall Faulk wasn't on the team when we won the Super Bowl, and Edge wasn't either, unfortunately. We had Joseph Adai and Dominic Rose were our two running backs when we did win it.
That's true.
And I went to Edge's Hall of Fame, one of the greatest backs to ever play. But I will say this. LeBron bumped his head, bro. Like, he bumped his head on this. Shay, you know it, and I know it. Listen, I'm not taking away John Elway, but you saw them stat lines up there. 20,000 more yards, 5 MVPs. Listen, you can say what you want. Manning was redefining the position when he came in, similar to what Stephen A. was saying. Changing plays, doing that. Even the completion percentage ain't even close, man. Like this is a master class of why a basketball guy bumped his head trying to give a football guy some Mount Rushmore. Listen, I could make the argument, and I won't, because I love Montana as well. That might not even. I might go 3 for him on that side. And listen, we talk about Super Bowls. I get it. Montana's got to be in a category of his own. There were some real good freaking teams in San Fran too. Now, like a full team. So when I look at what Peyton Manning was able to do through his career, for him not to be on Mount Rushmore is silly. And I think if you watch that video close of LeBron, you played it back slow, he knew he messed up. As soon as he said it, he was like, oh, I shouldn't have said it. He tried to stay strong to it, but he knew he made a mistake as soon as he said it. Should have changed it. Hey, let's make the switch. No ties. We don't do no ties on this show. It's one or the other. Manning's on it. Elway's just off to the side. That's all there is to it.
Hey, I'll be 1,000 with you. I kick all their asses off and put 7 on there, because I ain't win no Super Bowls with none of them other than number 7. So I don't know what y'all talking about. And just Saturday, you know, if they would have allowed the defenses to play defenses like they did in the 80s and the 90s when I got to the league, with all these guys, you know. You saw those hits where you could do whatever you wanted to the quarterback. There was no, you could only hit him in his chest. You couldn't hit him in his knee. You couldn't put your helmet in his back. You couldn't pile drive him. That's all they did to the quarterback.
So that I was hoping they was going to play the whole segment, but that's fine. We watched enough of it. We got the point. Moral of the story: Peyton Manning, top 2 quarterback of all time, and you better not have any kind of top 5 without having Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, Joe Montana in your top 3 in that order, chronologically. It has you go back and study the game some more, man. If you don't have it, go back. I'm not taking any. There's no debate about this. No opinionated. No opinions. That's the way it is. Period. All right. So we leave it on that note. Thank you so much. We're gonna be back here tomorrow. I got a special guest joining me tomorrow. I'm excited about that. His name is Andre Dawkins. He's actually Brian Dawkins' nephew. I met him at the NFL Combine that I was at earlier this year. And so I'm really excited. He has a really brilliant mind in football. We're gonna keep it simple. This is our first segment, our first show together, first duo. We're gonna just give our Super Bowl predictions, and we're also going to talk about the Tua and Brian Flores situation as well. So that's going to be exciting. That's going to be fun. I'm looking forward to this. And yeah, I love this channel. I love what I'm doing. I love the content I'm putting out, and I got more content coming for y'all. And we're going to be back here tomorrow. And to stay tuned all day.